What's going on, guys? It's creamslice. Welcome back to the channel. I hope you guys are good. So with Arc 3.0 coming to the end, and we are nearly at the end of the season, it is experimental time for me, where I just put any crazy build together and take them into nightfalls and just pretty much see what happens. I'm just been farming nightfalls and bounty farming, so just come up with this nightfall build that happens to work really well with this week's nightfall. We have extra arc damage increase, so it only makes sense that we use the Arc 3.0 subclass, but we're going to be pairing it with solar. Also, it does insane damage. With Arc 3.0 there's not a lot of survivability, but pairing it with arc allows us to take advantage of well of life. We're going to be using the pulse grenade, so we're going to be getting ionic traces everywhere. We're never without our pulse grenades. Our pulse grenades are even more powerful with the aspect we're using. It's just a really fun build, guys. So if you like the video, leave a like, subscribe to the channel. We're going to be taking off as soon as the new season starts with some fresh builds. We also have a Discord. There are some really nice guys in there at the moment, and I'm sure if you need to do any bounty farming before the new season, these guys will welcome you with open arms, and they will also help you through some nightfalls, so don't be shy, pop in there and say hello. So let's get into the build. Firstly, I was using the thundercrash for our super, using the shield bash to amplify ourselves, obviously not in dangerous situations, using it wisely, should I say. And we're using the pulse grenades because whether or not storm grenades are the strongest, these are still equally as powerful and absolutely clear ads out the way, especially within this nightfall. And the weapons that we've got set up, we have touch of thunder. This is going to increase our damage for our pulse grenade, but it also increases our ionic traces. So the longer this damages enemies, the more ionic traces we get feeding back into our abilities. And then we've just got knockout on there to get our health back when we smash somebody in the face. We've got ions. Defeating jolted targets creates ionic traces, paired with shock. Our arc grenades jolt targets, which we want to be jolting everything and getting ionic traces. So between these two and our pulse grenade, we are getting loads of ionic traces back that feed into our abilities. And then we have resistance for that 25% damage resist while we're surrounded, and magnitude to make our pulse grenades last even longer. We're going to be taking advantage of armamentarium with this build because it absolutely makes sense. So we're getting 2 pulse grenades to start off with. Everything that we do between the ionic traces, the elemental wells, feeds straight back into our abilities. Orbs of power regen our grenades, so we're constantly having these pulse grenades at our disposal to take care of any arc elemental shields. It absolutely rips through enemies while making ionic traces. The bigger bosses is absolutely amazing because the longer our pulse grenades stay on them, the more ionic traces we get. So it's super powerful for you and your fire team. I took a different route with this build, guys. I was using ticcus divination, which is absolutely insane with Arc 3.0, jolting everything while making everything explode. And it's phenomenal. It works in any nightfall. It's powerful. It's got everything you need. Can deal with overload champions. So sacred flame, what you do, you hit fire first and it will burn your trapped enemies, and then you aim down your sights, hit one of the trapped enemies that are burning, and then big kabooms go off. You all know what it does, and it's insane for ad clearing. As there is going to be a dim link below in my comments, so don't miss that. Just click that and then slot this build in the way I have it set up right now. A Riptide with auto loading holster and chill clip to freeze our barrier champions with the top half of our magazine. Used to go with Riptide as a power weapon because it can stun champions. And then lastly, I have my Taipan, as it's a void linear fusion rifle, and box breathing gives me extra precision damage, but obviously firing line would be the ideal choice there. In armamentarium with bountiful wells, so when we're getting grenade kills, we're going to make 2 arc elemental wells. We've got solar siphon when we're using ticcus divination. With the multi-kills with our as, we're going to be creating orbs of power through that. And then we've got a fusion rifle scavenger on there. On the arms, like I said, we've got elemental ordnance, so this will enable us to create elemental wells with our grenades. We've got overload bow on there and focusing strike feeding into our abilities. On the chest piece there we have explosive well maker, so this is where I was trying to explain to you guys about infusing solar into the arc 3.0 subclass, because with arc there's not really a lot of survivability. So I chose to go with ticcus divination because it has that explosiveness, and so does the pulse grenade. So what I was doing, I was throwing a pulse grenade, heating my enemies up with a ticcus, and then igniting them everywhere, making explosions. This was creating solar elemental wells for us, and then we was using well of life. So when we pick up the solar elemental well, that will give us enhanced healing along with recuperation and innovation with our orbs of power. So on the Titan mark we've got lightning strikes twice. When you throw an arc grenade you gain increased grenade recharge rate for a short period. Arc final blows extend the duration of this benefit. This actually works, guys. It's really nice with the pulse grenades, because the longer the pulse grenade stays on enemies, the more ionic traces we get and the more energy we're getting back from lightning strikes twice. So we're constantly having them 2 charges of pulse grenades up without having to use any firepower mods, which enables us to take advantage of well of life and explosive well maker. And then we've got bad amplitude, so damaging any champion with an arc ability causes them to become jolted. This is super powerful with pulse grenades, guys. I don't know if you tried it, but it jolts everything in your path and can just clear out rooms, especially when you're pairing it with ticcus divination. And then we've got seeking wells. Really effective build for this week's nightfall. Hope you try it out. Let me know how it goes. I'm creamslice, peace.